Hello everybody, this is FIDE Master Dalton Perrine from chessuniversity.com, and this again is another video in the Tactics Time video series that we're going to be doing today. In this video series, I'm going to be working on solving some different tactic trainer positions here on chess.com once again. With each of the positions, I'm going to first of all show you the tactic, then I'll give you the chance to pause the video so you can work on solving the tactic yourself, and then I'll be explaining my thought process and showing the solution to the puzzle the way that I figure it out. So, without any more waiting, it's time for some tactics here. Let's go ahead, hit start, and see what we get. So it looks like here, white has just made the move queen to h6. It is black's move at the moment. Go ahead and pause the video and think about what you would do if you were black here. Okay, so in this position as black, the first thing I'm looking at is, well, once again, as always, I'm looking for forcing moves. I do also want to note, though, what white's previous move was. White made the move queen h6. So this queen is kind of far into our territory, and it actually ends up that this queen doesn't have anywhere to move to right now. The only safe square available is g7. h6 and g7 are the only two safe spots the queen can be on right now. h5 is covered by the pawn, h4 is covered by the bishop on e7, h3 is covered by the bishop on f5, g5 is covered by the bishop and the knight. So the queen actually doesn't have too many places to move to right now. So I would still go through the forcing move list, see if there's any checks, any captures, any threats. Don't see any checks on white's king at the moment, just don't see a way to do it here. Any captures, there's really no captures either in this position. No captures available. Then I look for threats, and with threats, a threat is simply defined as something that your opponent has to respond to. Most of the time, it's a lower valued piece attacking a higher valued piece, or threatening something like checkmate, for example. In this case, the queen is pretty high valued, so if we can attack the queen, we can maybe trap the queen, because it doesn't have it only has these two squares to go to. So in order to attack the queen and cover the g7 square, the best move in this position is bishop f8. The queen is hit on h6, g7 is defended. It goes to g5 here in this case, but the knight on e4 covers the g5 square. We capture the queen, and we solve the tactic correctly here. So in this case, it's a trap piece, trapping the queen in order to win it. Let's go ahead and look at our next position here. Looks like white has just played g takes f5, capturing a bishop. It is black's here at this point, black's move at this point. Go ahead and pause the video and see what you would do if you were black here. Okay, so in this position, it's black's move at the moment. This one is pretty straightforward. Again, if you're just going to go through the list of forcing moves, looking for checks, then captures, then threats, there's only two available checks in this position. There's rook to g2, which the king can go back to h1, and white's actually doing relatively okay there. And then the other check is rook h6, and this is a pretty simple mate here. Rook h6 hitting the king. The other rook covers the remaining g-file squares. So rook h6 checkmate is the pretty straightforward answer here. So not too much time to spend on that one. Pretty straightforward. Okay, let's move on to our next position. So white has just made the move queen to g3 check. Black has made the move queen to g3 check. It is white's move in this position here. Go ahead and figure out what you would do if you were white. Pause the video and think about it here a little bit. Okay, so in this position here, we can't really look at our own forcing moves because we're the one being checked right now. So this is more of a defensive type of tactic here. Not really tactic, but mainly we just have to find the best move in the position. That's essentially what tactic trainers teach you to do. So we don't have any special move of our own, but I think here it comes down to just... I think we could just eliminate certain moves from our position here. If we move the king to f1, black will simply play queen takes f2 mate. If we move the king to h1, he can do knight takes f2 checkmate. So pretty much the only move here is rook to g2. This is going to give up the knight on f3, but at the very least, it's better than getting mated, of course. It does actually end up, though, that after rook g2, the queen takes the knight. We do have a good follow-up there. We can actually drop the bishop back to e2, skewer the queen to the knight because we see they're lined up diagonally. And then we can pick up the knight on g4 and actually retain our extra piece advantage. So rook to g2, takes the knight, bishop back to e2. Once the queen moves away somewhere, we pick up the knight on g4, and we are, still ahead a piece at that point. Okay, so just a quick three little tactics here. Not too much complicated with this one, especially the second one was mainly just a checkmate in one move, for example. But a couple little tactics here that we would want to get some practice with. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. I'll see you guys around in the next video for chessuniversity.com, and I will talk with all of you guys later. All right, bye everybody.